Hello. How's everybody doing?
I'm good.
Good. Yes, so Casca, to answer your question, you guys, anybody who's leveled, I know there's at least one other person who's also leveled, you can go ahead and do things now. Hit points, I prefer, because of the chance of doing, of getting bad rolls, I prefer to do the average. So what the average is whatever your hit dice are. So like, let's say your D6 hit dice. You take half of that, which is 3. You add 1, so that makes it 4. And then on top of that 4, you add any con bonus. So for classes that have a D6 hit die, it's 4 plus con bonus at every level beyond first. For classes that have a D8 hit die, it's 5 plus con bonus at every level past first. And if you're in the unlucky position of having D4 hit dice, it's 3 plus con bonus at every level.
Oh, okay.
So that saves that prevents you from having the polyhedral gods go, you get 1 hit point at this level, and then laughing maniacally at you. Which I've never liked that bit of randomness. You know, getting a 1 in a combat is one thing, but having to suffer with 1 stupid hit point for an entire level is that just seems very punishing.
Yeah.
All right. And speaking of being punishing, it's time for us to welcome in our viewers. And it is Saturday evening, and that means it's time for Greyhawk Saturday Nights. This is session 5 of our game, a session I like to call Downtime and Hommlet, because the last time we saw our heroes, they had finished clearing out the ground level of the Old Moathouse out in the swamp, and they had come back to town with a prisoner, and this prisoner is the leader of the bandits, and they were going to wind up doing things like figuring out how much their loot is worth, because there's a couple of things that seem really nice and shiny, but they couldn't tell out in the field much about them, other than that they were definitely masterwork, and they may or may not be magical. And then also figuring out if there are things they want to sell, how they want to disposition the coin and the other art objects and valuables that they have recovered from this particular area. And then also there's a matter of getting paid from the town council for the contract that they have fulfilled, maybe, at this point. So I think the very last thing we saw was people at the Inn of the Welcome Wench much. Some people had retired for the night. Some people were hanging out and listening to various songs from the bards. Archimedes was entertaining people with a song he had kind of written on the spot about what everybody had done in the battles. And does anybody have anything they want to do before they retire, or should we just skip to the next morning?
Go over the next morning.
Okay. And since we are,
of what would happen.
Yeah, since we are here in town tonight, you guys can, you guys can be working on your leveling up your character, and it's perfectly fine to ask any questions you have about what we need to do to level up. And in fact, I should start probably, since I know we have at least 2 characters who did level. And it looks like both of those players are now here, at least in Discord. I'm going to start at the top of the list and go down and just see if people leveled and if they have questions about what they need to do. So, Bob, you are at the top of my list. So did Archimedes gain a level?
I have no. I didn't look that up at all, and I.
Oh, okay. All right, so you can look that up and figure that out, and I'll just skip down to Casca. Casca, I believe you said Talon did raise a level. So
Yes,
did you have? And we talked about how we're doing hit points. And if anybody has any questions about hit points when you level, we'll go over that again. So other than the hit points, do you have any questions about what you need to add at second level for your rogue?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. All right. And then Jera, did Garm level?
No.
Yet?
No.
Okay, no. Goonie, did Min level yet?
I will let you know when my computer decides to actually do something. So
Okay, all right.
I'm literally like in limbo at the moment.
Yeah, I hear you. I have to deal with that myself. All right, and Joe, did Nico? I think you said Nico did level.
Correct.
Did you have any questions about what you need to do for him for hit points or any features or spells or anything?
The only change was he increased this 1/1 first level spell, and then the hit points, and I just forgot how you did hit points.
Okay. It's so I think as a cleric you get D6 hit die, so it will be 4 hit points plus your Constitution modifier.
D8.
Cleric is D8, so then it'll be 5 hit points plus your Con modifier.
Okay, that's easy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. All right. And then we'll swing back around. Bob, did you have a chance to look at the experience sheet and figure out if...
I'm doing the math now, and we are in session 5, so then yes. Yeah,
Okay.
16 something, 17.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so it's like
1250 that I need to get to.
Right.
Owl House.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So that should be.
I only
That
need
should be it.
596 to total to level up. Jesus.
Did you already add in the experience from
Yeah.
last time? Oh, okay. All right.
So I'm at, I don't know what everybody else's calculations are, but yeah, I need 596.
They're in the treasure sheet.
Oh, I
They're in
know.
the treasure sheet.
I'm just saying, with percentages and all that, it automatically calculates it for me. But
Oh.
so.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't forget those bonuses if you qualify for bonuses with your prime requisite. Okay. All right. So we will table any further questions until they come up, and in terms of leveling. So let's figure out what people want to do. So the morning dawns, and as you wake up in your beds in the inn, nicely rested. Those of you who took injuries, you have one more hit point today than you did yesterday.
May I make a suggestion? Nico's happy overnight to check on the people and watch them to make sure that, like, I'll sleep also, but like I can care for up to 5 or 6 people with the healer feat or the healer proficiency. Get back up to 3 hit points for one night's
then
rest.
yes, absolutely, you can do that. And in fact, to make sure that everyone is taken care of that way, Tuck from the Church of Saint Cuthbert, he will send over a couple of acolytes that have the healing and herbalism skills, and they will help tend to people so that I mean, I don't think you can get cumulative, but they'll just be there to make sure that Nico can get plenty of rest.
Now, overnight, do we get our spell casting back?
Yes. Yeah, I believe in these editions, and technically I think the way it's supposed to work in all editions is that I think at dawn you can pray again for your spells if you are a cleric, or you can memorize your spells if you're a wizard, and you regain the spells that way. And you don't, unless you gain a level, you don't get an additional spell slots, but any uncast spells that you had from the day, you don't have to rememorize those if you want to keep those. So for those campaigns where the DM wants you to account for every moment in your day, which to me just is really tedious, then you would have to figure out how long you need to either study or pray, depending on how many spell slots you're recharging. All right. So, the smell of breakfast is downstairs. Those of you who are in the who opted for the common sleeping dormitory area, you wake up and you see the large table in the middle of that room. There All right.
Into the dirt.
Bard will do his scales.
Okay. The bard does his scales.
I'm gonna run away from the bar.
Oh wait.
I go downstairs and have breakfast.
Okay. All right. Casca wanders downstairs.
I'm already downstairs doing the. Hey, look, food.
All right. And then or not Goonie, Min is down there with a pastry and a glass of milk.
I will sit with Min and watch her lap at her milk.
Okay. Which brings up the question. Okay. How does Min drink her milk? Does she drink it like a humanoid or does she drink it like a cat?
Half and half.
Half
Kind
and
of.
half.
Well,
Okay.
it's like when the cup is full, she'll sit there and lap at the top of it until it gets down far enough that her face won't fit in the cup anymore, and then she'll drink it.
Okay. All right.
Make sense?
Okay. That's fine. However you want to do it.
And then she'll look up at at Talon, who's watching her, tongue half stuck out. What?
Well, I've always liked to watch animals eat.
Well, I'm glad that I'm entertaining.
Well, if the waitress ever comes by, maybe I can get some breakfast.
And sure enough, servers will come by and they will, there's like the standard breakfast, which is scrambled eggs and sausage. And then they have the light breakfast, which is grits and fresh fruit with some honey and butter for the grits. And then there's the full breakfast, which is the fruit, the grits, the eggs, the sausage, and waffles with syrup.
Yeah, Talon will take the full.
Okay. All right. And there's a couple of different kinds of fruit juice that they have.
Hot tea's fine.
Okay. All right.
Since it's very cold here.
Okay. So then Jera as Garm. Does Garm do anything special in his room before heading down, or does he just head down to grab some breakfast?
Yeah, just come to grab a standard breakfast.
What?
Okay. Garm, you're a little bit quiet today, so I don't know if your microphone is in a different position or if you need to turn the gain up a little bit on your mic. You're very, very quiet compared to what you normally are.
Now he's just silent, right?
Yeah, I see he's typing. He's typing
Okay.
something. Okay. All right. And well,
That's a song request. Please forgive me by Brian. I will do that one.
Okay. All right. So Archimedes, you have done your scales and you are ready to head down. And when you get down to the common room, you see the cat with a plate that has a few crumbs in it and about a half a glass of milk that she has finished drinking. And then sitting next to her is the halfling, and the halfling has about 4 plates and 2 bowls that are arrayed in front of him. He looks about like he looks like he's sitting, or he looks like he has turned Neil Peart's drum kit into a buffet.
Oh, nice. That's a regular halfling morning.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Min has picked up her plate and is licking the crumbs off of it.
Okay.
Helping out the busboys, I see. Very nice. Very nice.
And
what happened to that rat you were carrying around? Did you eat it?
He reaches into her pouch and pulls it out and slaps it on his plate. I saved it for you.
And about that time, the server is coming over, and she gives a and she jumps a little bit when she sees the rat, and then she hisses. Put that away. Get that off of the table. Get that off the table now.
So she goes and picks it up.
I want the liver first.
Puts it back in her bag. Fine.
And then the server comes over and says to Talon, son, I know that it's very commendable that you want to give your pet a space at the table, and that's fine, but
I am not a pet. How dare you?
Well, ma'am, you simply can't put dead vermin on the table. It's very unsettling to all the other humanoids.
And she kind of looks around like
a good kitty would have just ate it.
I am more than just a kitty. I was waiting to share.
Well, that's...
I put it in my bag, so shush. I want more donuts. And some bacon.
Okay, we can bring that. And you, sir, she says, turning to Archimedes, will you have the regular breakfast, the light breakfast, or the full breakfast?
Oh, since we had a good day of adventuring, I'll take a full breakfast.
Very well. Bacon for the lady and a full breakfast for the gentleman. And you, sir, she says to, and you, young man, she says, talking to Talon again, how is your food?
Oh, everything's fine. Thank you.
Oh, very well, very well. And then she kind of scurries off and makes her way around to several other tables. And there's a table over there where a couple of people are sort of giving Min the side eye. Apparently they saw that business with the rat on the table, and they're kind of looking very disapprovingly at it. And she goes over and talks to them and just sort of, his little hand motions like they should take it easy a little bit. But
I stick my tongue out at him.
and a woman sitting at that table, she looks at you and she huffs and she just turns away and looks somewhere else, like she's just not going to pay attention to such a rude child.
She's a snooty old biddy.
Want me to throw the rat at her?
Maybe I should slip it in her purse.
Ooh, that would be good. So Min hands over her pouch that the rat's in.
Okay. So
you gotta share the love.
So this is going on, and Nico. Nico gets up in the morning after having a little bit more rest than he thought he might because of some help from the acolytes at the Church of St. Cuthbert. Does Nico do anything in particular before he heads down for breakfast? Nope. Okay, Joe may not be home yet.
I just walked in now. Nico's gonna grab food and take an extra bath because he hates being stinky.
Okay, all right. So he will get some food and just. Okay, what order is he gonna bathe first and then come to the common room for breakfast, or breakfast first and then bathe?
Yeah, he would walk down, grab a cup of something to eat in his hand, and then walk down, bathe, and then come back up and hang out with everyone.
Okay, all right. So
he could grab something off. He could go ahead and grab whatever's on the table from my breakfast.
Yeah, okay.
A muffin or something.
Yeah, the dwarf comes in and says, "Guys, I need a bath." And
Min goes,
of course
not
you do.
Bad. Could be better.
There's not enough soap and water in the world for you, Nico.
Did you know it's almost like a swimming pool?
Water.
I'm big, but I'm not like giant size big, and like large people could fit in these tubs. It is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, good. You can go take a bath for two of us then.
Can you take her with you? She needs a bath too.
I do not need a bath.
That's a very private thing. No, thank you.
I'm quite well groomed, thank you. And she kind of licks at her hand, the back of her hand.
Please don't cough up a hairball.
That's what my cats sound like at home.
All right, so Nico disappears, grabs a bath, comes back in a bit. His hair looks a little bit damp. His beard looks a little bit damp, but other than that, he now feels fresh and clean. And when he gets to the table, would he get a light breakfast, a normal breakfast, or the full breakfast?
Probably two of the full breakfast, share some of it, and stick whatever can last a day or two that doesn't get eaten as leftovers into a oiled sack in his bag with his rackets.
There would already be a full breakfast on the deal from Mark Immediate, so you could share them. So
I appreciate that. He still gets two full breakfasts, and then
again, there's a full breakfast on the table.
Dwarves eat quite a bit.
Yeah, and
he stores it in his second and third stomach.
Yeah.
While chewing
How
on
do you
his
know about
cud
those?
later.
Those
Yum,
were a clan
yum,
secret.
yum.
I guess a bread
We have
could fit
HEPA
in the
filter
beard.
beards, and we've got multiple filtration stomachs.
Yep. There you go.
Ready?
All right. So most of the party is down there.
Who we
So
missing?
then-
Who can I go wake up?
Looks like we are just for the moment. It looks like we're just missing Garm, who's having some issues, or Jera, who is having some issues with his mic. Jera, are you back with us? Okay, I'm guessing he's still dealing with that.
No, I've
All
been
right.
here the whole time. It's just that you couldn't hear me, so I didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now you sound better. Now you sound better. Okay. All right. So when Jera or when Garm is getting up in the morning, what would does he do anything before he heads down for breakfast?
Yeah, I'm gonna bathe and then go down, and I'll take a standard breakfast.
Okay. All right. So you see everybody else in the party sitting down. I think we have everybody with us tonight, right? We're not. Everyone in the group. All right.
No. And Jason.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Jason is gone. Quint. Okay, I knew there. And he told us that he was going to be traveling this week. Down there. All right. So we wind up. You wind up finishing breakfast, and then there's I guess a few things that the party probably wants to do today, but there's not really any set order in which you have to do it, or that you all need to do those things together. So,
I want to get paid.
Okay, so one person definitely wants to go talk to the village council and make sure that they get their pay.
I want to go put a rat in the old lady's purse and then go get paid.
Me too.
Okay. All right.
Nico recommends that we also put all the different stuff into go as a group around, because we got that huge chest full of coin, and so we might want to go get paid and then find the local money changer, or the local I don't know if there's a cleric or somebody who could identify items and give us some more information about the stuff we found, so we can get it valued well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, there's a couple of retired adventurers of note here in town. They are the ones that are building that tower. The warrior Rufus and his most magnificent wizard Byrne is in town. So, and you also have that Church of St. Cuthbert over there. That so there's probably somebody there that could do and identify. Or if the wizard wants, or if the wizard wants too much money to do it. Because after all, Rufus and Byrne, they're retired adventurers, and they retired because they killed a green dragon and took its treasure hoard, and that's what they're doing, or that's what they're using to build their stronghold. Is that treasure hoard from the dragon? So they're probably very fancy pants people. Now, heading to the. Wait, what am I? Oh, that's what I'm missing. I don't have the thing open yet. So let me go over here and do. It's open here. All right. So, I think. We have the. Okay. In the village, the new hall for the village council is right next door to the Inn of the Welcome Wench. And this hall has a sign in front of it that proclaims that it is that there's a this was constructed by a donation from the adventurers Rufus and Byrne as a gift to the village of Hommlet. So they are doing what all very rich people do, which is buy the government. Make sure government works for them. And they are when you walk in, there's several of the village council people as well as a couple of staff people that are in here, and you are met by a woman at the door, and or a woman sitting at a desk near the door, and her name is human, and then her name is Julene, and she says, "Welcome to the hall of the village council. How can I help you?"
We're here to collect.
Min steps forward and goes, "So we did a job. We would like to get paid because we were successful."
Oh, okay. And it was a job for a member of the village council?
Mm-hmm.
Multiple members. The council agreed to pay us for a prisoner of the bandits and to award us the deed to the old what's it called?
Moathouse.
Moathouse.
To that place if we cleared it out of the bandits.
Oh, yes. Okay. I remember some commotion last night. Yes. I believe that the
There was a bonus for bringing a prisoner. A bonus for.
Bonus.
Okay. Well, let me take a look at the and see who all is in. Oh, yes. I see that council member Elmo and council member, what the hell is this guy's name? I've got to go and look at the face again.
It was Zert, Elmo, and the Keith.
Yes. Elmo and McKeith are in this morning. So let me take you back to Council Member McKeith's office. And so she leads you back, and you see the door is open, and the dwarf is sitting in there, and he's got his pipe in his mouth, and he is looks like he's working through reading some reports, and he looks up when she walks in and leads you all in. And he says, "Oh, welcome. Yes, come in. I was just looking over a report from Zert that he wrote up last night after you all returned. Seems that you all had quite the success. Looks like you killed a number of the bandits and you captured their leader. I'll be very interested to see what he has to say when they have a chance to interrogate him. Hopefully between him and the other bandit that was turned in a couple of days ago, we will have some more information on the breadth of their operation. Now, I wanted to find out what your plans are in terms of clearing out the lower level of the Moathouse.
Our plans are to use the money that we make from the job to buy better weapons and armor and go back in there. But we need
that we were able to claim as victors in combat.
Very good. Well, I certainly think that you all are entitled to payment for the for bringing in the bandit leader, and then he calls out, "Counselor Elmo, can I see you in my office, please?" And Elmo comes in from across the hall where his office is. He walks in. He says, "Oh, hello, heroes. Good to see you again. I see that McKeith, you've been reading the same report I was from Zert." And he says, yes, quite. No, they tell me that their plan is to use the money that they get from the job would be good. I think we should give them each at least the $250 gold piece bonus for each one of them for bringing in the bandit leader. I am not quite sure how to take Zert's report since there is a basement and we're not sure what is down there. I don't know whether we should believe that higher threat has been dealt with. What do you say, McKeith? And he says, "Well, let me ask you all this. You've now had a look at the place. You know that one of the options you have you could turn it into something that might serve as a base of operations for your group."
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Well,
It's a
then.
dung hole.
I'm sorry.
So-
What? What, young man?
I said it's a dung hole.
So here's the
It's
thing.
it's
I'm sure that the bandit threat itself is ended because of what we uncovered from the first level. We destroyed them. I think maybe one or two may have run. If you give us possession of the Moathouse, then if there's as a base, then you can be rest assured that we're going to clean anything else in there. But I don't think there's any more bandits in there. Maybe some other kind of creatures.
and McKeith looks at Elmo and says, "That sounds like a pretty compelling argument to me. What about you, Elmo?" And Elmo says, "Well, I believe, as long as they understand that if they are the owners, then, that askance on any further threats to the village coming from that place. So I think they would have sufficient incentive to clear it out. So are you thinking maybe we pay them everything we agreed now?" And McKeith says, "Yes, I think so." I think as long as we can persuade the mayor to vote with us, then the three of us would represent a majority, and we could make sure of that. Elmo, why don't you go find out what the mayor thinks? He says, "Right away, I'll do that." And he tips his cap, says, "Good morning to you all," and he trots out of the village council office. And so while he's gone, McKeith is looking at the report and says, "My, sounds like there was an awful lot of vermin at that place. Says here you all found a giant spider and a giant lizard and a giant snake.
And rats. Lots of rats.
Lots of rats. Well, yeah, rats. I mean,
Giant
place
rats.
have been.
Lots of giant rats.
Oh, giant rats.
And she
Ugh.
holds her hands out, like the size of a normal rat, and then kind of looks and then thinks about it and holds her hands out a little bit farther. This
Ugh.
big. What?
Ugh.
Giant is a
And-
swear word in Dwarven.
And Mickey,
Really?
McKeith looks at Nico, and he nods and he says, "Well, right you are, sir, and we are in mixed company." So he looks at the cat and he says, "Forgive my vulgar language, ma'am."
This time she walks up and goes, "Giant, giant, 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 giant."
And he starts to look a little embarrassed.
No, she's doing that to her teammate. Giant, giant, giant.
Yeah, McKeith still looks a little.
Giant.
McKeith still looks a little embarrassed when
Talon's gonna do the
yes.
same thing, but skip around the room.
And then my character decides to join. And what?
After a couple of minutes, Elmo comes back and he is leading a white-haired, rather portly man who's dressed in fine clothes, and this is the mayor, and his name is Mayor Fleming. All right, so Mayor Fleming, mayor of. So he quickly consults with Elmo and with McKeith, and the three of them agree, and then they produce a document, and the three of them sign it, and then they draw up a little, basically like a little cashier's check. They will draw up 6 of those, one for each of the PCs, and they will hand those to you. One is made out to each of your names, and they will tell you that you can. They will tell you that you can go to the. Let's see. Goodness. I just love the descriptions of these places in this adventure, because it's like it doesn't tell you what the building is. It's like the tanner. It says house with leather hide tacked to front door. And so, wooden building with shuttered windows. Sturdy new building with a sign. And it's like, what the hell is actually in here? And so as you come, they will tell you to go to the money changer, who is near. We'll put this on let's go back to the map. Nira Malub is located. Okay, where? Oh, it's located across the creek. Over here, on the way towards the church. And if you go to Nira Malub and present these checks, he can get you the actual gold. And as you see, each one is made out with 500 gold pieces. And then they produce a 7th slip of paper. And the 7th slip of paper is the deed to the Old Moathouse. And and apparently this Nira Malub also is kind of like the clerk of the village that records all of the property transactions and everything, and says that and it's got the council members' signatures on it, and then it has a blank line, and you are to go to Nira Malub and sign that blank line, and it's already got the seal of the village council on it and the seal of the mayor. And then as soon as you all sign it and Nira Malub is there to witness it, he will put the seal of the money changer on it, and then that will officially record that the deed is transferred into your hands. So you have all of that. You know where you can get your money, and they tell you that the interrogation of the prisoners will begin at high noon. And so, if you all have any interest in being part of the interrogation, you can come over, or you can come back to the back end of this hall where the prisoners are being kept, and you can witness that interrogation, if you will. But I think we actually need to rewind because I forgot something. Before you guys left the inn, there was something that two of you all wanted to do in the common room. So, let us see. Casca, what do you have any kind of in your non-weapon proficiencies? Do you have any sort of stealth or sneaking?
Well, I have moved silently in my rogue skills.
Oh. Since it's the morning and it's at breakfast, you don't have any. You're not wearing any armor at this point, right?
No, not really.
Okay, all right. Because in this edition of the game, you do get a bonus if you're not wearing armor. So I'll go ahead and Min and Casca, paint a picture for me of how you plan to do this, and depending on how you paint it,
So what's this
Casca
woman look like?
What does this woman look like? She is a human. She's probably past her middle years. She seems quite well dressed, very proper. Has a rather large nose and seems to enjoy looking down at other people.
Is she wearing any beautiful jewelry or
well-made
fur-lined clothing? You know, that kind of thing.
No, not fur-lined. Not at breakfast here. But clearly she is someone who does not work with her hands. She is dressed very nicely. If she has a job, you would imagine it's probably something more of a clerical, or a clerical in terms of not holy, but clerical in terms of pushing paper, as opposed to driving wagons or something like that.
Right.
So, and she's got some modest jewelry on. There's like a modest strand of pearls around her neck, and a couple of small earrings on, just like little stud earrings.
Min
Nothing flashy.
Looks like she's going to get up and starts to kind of walk away, and then she turns and kind of walks back to the lady to stand in front of her table and kind of looks at her and goes, "Ma'am, I just have to tell you that you are so well put together and so beautiful for this time of morning. I love all of the accents and jewelry that you have."
While she's doing that, I'll sneak over And
Okay. I'm gonna take a quick look at Min's character sheet, see what proficiencies she
I don't
has.
have a whole lot. Mine all has to do with
Make me in that case. Make me a charisma check. Okay. All right. So, she seems a little. Flustered by your comments, and she says, well, I thank you. I thank you. But it's clear that she's trying to smile with her mouth, but it comes across as a very tight-lipped smile, and she still has kind of a rather disapproving look in her eyes. So
Min basically puts her hands behind her back and kind of rocks on her heels a little bit and goes, so as possibly being a new resident of the area, can you tell me where is a good shop to find very nice modest clothes like what you're wearing?
And she says, oh, well, yes, this is yes, the tailor. What is his name? Oh, okay. So he's not named here. Gil? Okay, the tailor is named Gil. Gil is the tailor.
Gil is better, but that's okay.
Okay. Gil is the tailor in Hommlet. So she will tell you how to find Gil's place, and she starts giving you advice on the colors that you should wear because of the color of your fur. And so Raven is going to try his luck. And Raven, you do sneak up behind her, and you don't think you are detected. And so what would you do once you get up next to this woman? Or behind this woman?
I'm hoping she has like a bag or something I can just...
Oh, yeah. She has a large, kind of an oversized bag that is sitting on the floor next to her chair.
Well, then I'm just going to put the rat in the bag. I'm not really going to, I'm not going to take anything out of it or anything.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you slip up there and you put that in the bag, and she continues talking to Min.
And Min seems very interested and trying to do her best to be polite.
Okay, and she says, after she tells you a little bit about the tailor, she finally seems to get herself get a little bit more command of her emotions, and now a more genuine smile creeps onto her face, and she says, "Now, My dear, I can tell that you're not from around here. I have never seen anyone who looks like you, I must say. And I don't know the customs of where you are from, but uh, if if your people uh, tend to hunt and feed on creatures that you kill in the wild, it is you must really learn to take that to a butcher and have it properly prepared if you are going to consume that in the presence of folk in a place like this in the inn. You cannot simply just bring a carcass of an animal into the inn and throw it on a table. If your people need to eat that way, then you should probably do that in your own room or outside, but definitely not where other people can see, because there are people with very delicate constitutions, and it would make them rather ill to see such a barbaric display
Oh,
in their presence.
I'm very sorry. I'm from the north, way north, and so, but I gave it as a gift to my friend, so he's supposed to be taking care of getting it taken care of. So, I appreciate the information, and I will remember that next time, if there's a next time that I manage to catch something and bring it back for food. So, is there a butcher in town? Where do I take it?
Oh, yes, I believe there is a butcher, and she will speak to her husband, and okay, that's a woodcutter. That's not a butcher. Okay, then it's the leather worker. That is the smith. That's the weaver. That's the tailor.
Yo.
That's the trading post. That's the carter. That's the money changer. I think there's a cabinet maker. There's a potter. There's a brewmaster.
This town's in desperate need of a butcher.
Well, yeah, it might be. It's like, come on. Is there a butcher? A cowherd.
At the inn might be able to do it.
There's the miller. Oh, come on. There's a herdsman and the village elder. The carpenter, stonemason. My goodness.
I guess a lot of women must just do their own butchering.
Yeah, they must. Okay, because they don't have a house of a butcher. So yeah, she would then tell you that the cook here at the inn serves as the village butcher for the hunters who bring back a carcass, and that typically you take it around back to the kitchen entrance, and they will prepare the carcass for you. Or they will butcher the carcass for you.
Okay. Well, I must go because my friends are gone now. So, I thank you very much, and I'll remember that next time I catch something, because Well, my friend has the rat now.
Oh, okay. Well, and when you say the rat, she, her mouth just, she sort of shudders a little bit, and her
And
mouth
Min
sort of
kind of
gets up.
covers her mouth and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that out loud." And then she skips off.
Okay, all right. And the woman and her husband just sort of watch you go, and then they say something to each other. And so you guys go and you deal with the village council, and then you all have gotten the deed, and you've gotten the checks that you need to take to the moneylender. Anything else you want to do at the village council before you leave that building?
When I leave the council and get the check from the dwarf, I skip out going, "The giant gave me a check. The giant gave me a check."
Okay, all right. And anybody else need to say anything to the village council?
Just kind of stare at the guy, and then smile and go, "Bye, giant!" and turn around and leave.
Okay, all right. And
our maturity level is really high in this group.
Yeah, Elmo and the mayor, they kind of have puzzled looks on their faces when the halfling and the cat lady go off. Everybody else is done and heads outside.
I'm sure Nico's offended.
Nico's sad. He doesn't get offended by this. He's just sad.
He's just sad. Okay. Kind of, he gives a look of sympathy towards McKeith.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He goes and buys like a nice flagon of that ale, the one that costs a gold, and splits it with McKeith, shaking his head.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, you guys can do that at a later time. As you all are leaving the village council building, you hear an almighty screech and holler of sheer terror coming out of the common room of
Min
the
looks over at her cohort crab and goes, "Run!"
Well, you all have been.
Me do it.
Yeah, you all have been gone from the Inn of the Welcome Wench for quite some time, because you were. It maybe all in all, you were spent a total of maybe a half hour over at the village council building, getting all that paperwork done. So you've been gone for quite some time from there, and there's like you then that screech and that yelling is followed quickly as the very prim and proper woman comes stumbling out of the inn, quickly chased by her husband, and then quickly chased by a server, and she steadies herself on a one of the posts along the porch out in front of the inn, and she just leans over and she regurgitates all of her breakfast into the dirt just outside the porch, and it's just server is like, oh, I'm so sorry, and the husband is like, I don't know how that got in there. That was crazy. That blasted cat woman may have something to do with it, though. And all of his attention is on his wife. He's not looking at you all, and you all are headed the other way anyway. So, maybe you guys can decide whether you want to try to draw more attention to yourselves by running, or just kind of make your way over towards
Please hurry, quick.
I'm just snickering.
Okay, all right.
I'm innocent. I told him I already gave it away to my friend.
Yeah. And the rest of you kind of see these two sort of looking mischievous. And you all may or may not know what they had done, depending on whether they mentioned anything to anybody else or not. So
we might smell a rat, you say?
You might smell a rat. Yes.
But
hey, Mr. Giant Man, it's okay.
You're talking to who?
Nico.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're talking to the dwarf. All right.
well, he's a giant compared to us two.
Well, yeah, he's still smaller than the rest of the party, though.
I'm in a land of giants. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
Yep. But he should feel honored that we're calling him a giant man.
Okay. So, as you make your way over to the money changer, Niramalub,
and we're bringing the chest with us, because I remember mentioning we should go to the money changer.
Okay, as you walk up towards his building, the sign displays. The sign has 3 yellow circles, which you think are supposed to represent gold coins on them. There's a guard in chainmail standing just outside the door. He's wearing a sword and cradles a light crossbow in his arms. And 2 large dogs lounge on either side of the door, and they sort of look in your direction. These are dogs like mastiffs, so they're very large hound dogs.
I go up and give the dogs each a piece of jerky.
And the guard sort of looks at you, and he smiles to you. He says, yes, son, they don't bite unless I tell them to, and I only tell them to if somebody tries to steal anything from the place. And he looks and he sees the rest of you coming with the chests, and so he will...
Or not Nico, so I'm so sorry. Min basically goes, like, completely goes to the other side away from them.
There, one on each side of the door.
Yeah, there's one on each side of the door.
Then I climb on top of Nico.
And I give them both a good petting.
Yeah, okay.
And
Min looks at you and goes, traitor.
And the guard sees whoever is carrying the... there's probably 2 or 3 of you that are carrying the chest, to see those of you coming with that. And so he will open the door for you all, because clearly that's something that you all will need to carry into the money changer. And when he does open the door, you see another guard on the inside of the door, and there's yet another large mastiff on the inside, but this one is over laying on the floor kind of at one end of the counter and just sort of doing that thing where it just sort of has its tongue lolling out and just kind of it picks its head up off of its paws as you all walk in and just sort of is looking at you. And the man behind the counter, he says, "Oh, welcome. And he will welcome you all to come in. Oh, please.
Thank you.
Bring
baby.
your chest up here."
You can't lick me on the ear.
I'm gonna run up to the other dog, give it some jerky and some good pettings too.
Okay.
Min really looks pissed off. Raider.
And then I walk up to Min and I put my hand all over her nose.
Thanks. Oh, God. She starts licking her paw and then rubbing her nose like, oh.
Yeah. All right. Ladies, gentlemen, how can I help you today?
I got a check from the giant.
A check from the giant? May I see that? And he fishes out, some spectacles and puts them on the end of his nose, and he reaches out a hand. Do you give him the check?
Well, if he doesn't, I do.
Okay.
I do. Sorry, I had on.
Okay, so he will take the checks. Oh, from the village council. Oh, the giant. Yes, that Master Elmo is a rather large gentleman, isn't he? Very tall, broad-shouldered. I would hate to have him angry at me.
Dwarf. Is that what he is, Nico? Dwarf. Dwarf giant.
I just have my head down.
And he looks at you all, and he tries to figure out if this seeming child looks like it belongs to any of the rest of you, and says, "Oh, my boy, you have quite a sense of humor there. Clever boy.
Check, and I need the amount."
Yes, I see you all have these checks. Okay, very well.
We also have some assorted coinage for you to count and then include in what we're cashing out.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, I presume that would be in the chest here, and he calls for an assistant who comes in from the back, from a back room that's separated from the main room by a curtain, and comes in and hands the checks to them, says, "We need to get the funds out of the vault, and so we'll start on that." And then says, "Okay, well, money changing, I can convert. I can convert money."
Can I see the ball?
No, my son. Sorry, you can't. That's for the employees only.
Talon looks disheartened, and he goes and sits down by the dog. And
I go.
Okay.
I was going to go over and sit next to him, but then he sat by that dog. Traitor.
And he says, and then he will look at the rest of you, and he says, "Well, tell the lad that when he grows up, if he wants to work here, then
If he grows up.
We can train him in all the ways of the moneylenders, and this is something.
As he's gonna get. He's fully grown.
It's not nice to make fun.
And
Of who? Mother Nature? Sorry.
He looks a little curious. And those of you who are from Earth, or Earth as it's spelled, who are from the planet of Earth, you have heard Talon call himself a halfling, and he says he's fully grown, but he doesn't look like the halflings that you all are accustomed to. Doesn't have the oversized feet, with fur on the feet. Doesn't have the pronounced, rounded belly. The sort of mutton chops and everything like that. He looks very much like a human child.
Halflings on Athens don't consider themselves halflings either. They consider themselves the right size.
Well, right. But you guys know halflings from this world have look a certain way, and this Talon, who's been adventuring with you and has called himself a halfling, he doesn't look like the halflings you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why Talon calls himself a halfling when the halflings on Athens don't consider themselves halflings.
They're the first race.
They're the first race, exactly. They were the ones that were the humans in the age of science. Everything else is evolved from them. So they don't consider themselves halflings. Everybody else.
Okay, well,
I don't.
Okay, well, however he explains himself, you guys who are elves and humans and dwarves, you would, when he tells you about the rest of the races, you would say, oh, okay, in your mind you would say, oh, okay, that would mean he's kind of like a halfling, but he doesn't look like a halfling. He looks like a 10 or 12-year-old, he looks like a small 10 to 12-year-old kid is basically what he looks like. He, a human child. And so that's why all these NPCs, when they meet him, they all think he's a boy. They think he's somebody's son or nephew, or one of you is the guardian or ward of. He's a ward of one of yours or whatever.
I asked the dog if he gets to see the vault.
Do you have any kind of? Well, if you don't, you're not a spellcaster.
Just playing.
He'll look up at you when you talk to him. He'll look up at you, and after his tail will just sort of thump on the floor happily. Clearly, he doesn't know. He doesn't understand what you're saying, but you're talking to him, and he's paying attention to you.
I scratch him behind the ears.
Okay. All right. Well, the money changer will tell you that he can convert your coins to other currency for a fee of 10%. And then he also says if you have any art objects or values, he does buy those, but he will buy them at a percentage of what he appraises them for. because of course then his idea would be to turn around and sell them, and so he wants to make a profit on
what kind of percentage? Because I know that I like Talon, for example, is a really dedicated person who would walk 500 miles or maybe 500 more to make a good sale.
Yeah,
It might be giants.
Unfortunately, the rest of us aren't that patient. At least I'm not. I want my money now. I don't want you going to Verbal Bound to try to get a better deal.
But what's his
it would be basically it would be anywhere from 50 to 80% of the value. And in my game, unless otherwise specified, you guys know that if you appraise an item and you take it to a merchant, you're probably going to get 50% of what it appraises for. So this guy's actually going to give you a range between 50 and 80. And that probably depends on how rare he thinks the item is, how hard or easy it would be to sell it, and perhaps whatever the dice say.
And how nice you are. And how
nice you are. Yes. Yep.
Well, sir, why don't we just agree to 80% now, and we'll come to you with all the neat stuff we find since we're moving to the area.
Do you have any kind of persuasion or something like that
cute.
as a skill?
I got a really pretty beard.
Nico, you are not cute at all.
I think I am. So does Freya. I'm betrothed. Are you?
No.
Yeah, don't let the seven Christmas guys do the talking next time.
Okay, so let's take a look here.
Would you like to be immortal?
I
can immortalize you.
Oh, yeah. Immortalized in song. Yeah. Right.
I'll show him the fancy dagger.
Okay, well, first of all, Nico has made a suggestion, and since he doesn't have any other skill, Nico, go ahead and make a charisma check.
Can we give him some aid in that?
He just laughs at me.
Okay, that's a feat of hit points, so I don't think that was... It didn't come across as charisma.
So I hit the wrong thing. Sorry, let me roll charisma.
Okay.
Which one's charisma?
Attributes.
It should be on your attributes down at the bottom.
All right. I think that's it.
Okay. A little better, but still not really good. He
starts laughing at me.
Hey, he doesn't laugh. He says, well, sir, I will have to be the judge of that. I've been in the business of buying and selling a long time. I have a sense of what is easy for me to sell and what is a little bit more difficult, and I need to account for all of my carry cost and my overhead and those types of things. You know, I have to pay the guards and that type of thing. So I do have to consider every item individually. Now
I started looking up, and I nudged whoever's next to me in the shoulder, and I started looking at the roof. I'm like, what's the problem with overhead? Like in the fort, like we don't worry about things falling on us. Should I be worrying about these buildings?
No, sir.
Excuse my counterparts. They believe in the Chicken Little syndrome there.
What's Chicken Little? Is that a dish?
The dwarf giant is stupid.
Yes.
All right. So he says, why don't we take a look at what you all have, and I will tell you what I can offer you. I can make an offer. It's up to you whether you all accept the offer, of course. But do you know how many coins we have here, or do I need to count them out?
I thought we knew, right?
We do know.
Yeah, you guys did know.
Yeah.
Which
somebody sat and counted them while we were doing something else.
Yeah, I think. I think somebody has a total.
2,079 copper pieces, 19 electrum pieces, 23 silver pieces, 8 gold pieces, and 21 platinum pieces. My good man.
We should only convert the copper.
Okay.
Agreed.
Okay. Did you say 2,100 or 3,100?
2,079 copper pieces is what I'm showing that we got last time.
Okay, because I think that chest had 3,000 copper pieces in it.
Now you have here that the chest had 2,000 copper pieces in it.
Oh, did
and then we obtained 79 other copper pieces off of various other
bodies.
Yeah.
What is there, like 20 gold?
We obtained it off all that good meat to rot.
Okay, I think maybe I'm going to double check because I think I may have mistyped that. I think it was supposed to be 3,000 and not 2,000. So let me double check the.
We can just round it up. Round it up to 20,000. That'll work.
We would not be carrying it.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Ruins of the Moathouse, Area 7. Oh, no, okay. It does have 2,000 copper. Okay. For somehow when I was looking at it, I was thinking it said 3,000, but it does say 2,000. Okay. So 2,079. He will give you he'll give you 201 gold. Basically for that. He'll sort of round it. He'll round that 79 up to 2,100. So he'll give you 201 gold. And then where the rest of you saying just leave the other coins in there.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to walk around with a bunch of copper, but the other coins, once we split it, won't be anything to carry around.
Okay. All right. So, Casca, I presume you're going to write down the 201 and figure out how much everybody will get to split it.
I'm just adjusting the numbers on what I had, and then I'll do the math here in a second.
Let's let the bard do negotiate, not the dwarf. Somebody shut the dwarf up.
Okay. So now, is there any of the art objects or other things that you would want to try to sell to this guy?
All of it. What are we going to do with it?
I'm going to show him the fancy dagger.
So you mean the bard slightly steps in front of the dwarf and starts talking?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, instead of me.
Okay, so the dagger, he looks at that and he's like, "Oh, this is a beautiful piece. This, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a one of a kind." He said, and he pulls out a little eyepiece and he inspects it and everything. And he looks at it. He says, I could go as high as 600 on this.
Seems a little light for a one of a kind.
Well, for an item this expensive, there's not many people who would buy it. I'll have to.
I'm all for it. Let's dump this damn thing.
Come on, work with me.
Yeah, fuddy duddy.
So,
Well,
I'm
there's
just gonna
6
put-
of us, so 600.
We're gonna go to that
sounds
other
enough for
town
me.
eventually. We could always sell it there.
Hell no. I'll
We
be
get
dead
less.
by the time we get the verbal bonk. No, let's sell this shit now.
Ugh. You might live longer if you wore armor. I'm just saying. But
I can't wear armor. It's too heavy. It's
Okay.
encumbering.
leather armor,
So what's the next item?
the crystal goblets and flagon.
Okay, and I think we had figured out that those were worth. I think I have that in the thing. Those are worth 80 for the set. Okay, so that's gonna be this. He'll offer you 40 gold for that.
Unfair.
What's next? You guys gonna try to keep? You guys gonna try to keep the any of the boxes? I think there's an inlaid wooden box, and then there's another.
Yeah, with
There's
I-
the ivory
couple of
handles.
those. Yeah, there's 2 of
Nico
those
whispers
actually.
to the bard. It's like, at what point do you start negotiating?
Bard's not
when we're done.
negotiating.
I'm going along with whatever we get, and we split evenly.
What kind of people are you?
Okay.
You're sick in the head.
Okay. Do you?
We still have lots more to go get, so
I show
let's
'em the
get what we
box.
can and go.
That is not a good attitude. You'll never get anywhere like that.
Okay.
What,
Do you want to?
asking for the value?
Okay. Say that again.
So Nico's whispering disgruntledly to people about, aren't we going to negotiate it all? Because he knows, like, he doesn't know most of the items, but he knows weaponry, and he knows that dagger is a ceremonial, like, decorative piece that's worth way more. And I know he said we talk about each piece individually, but he's just given us a number, and we're just accepting it. And Nico's like grumbling about that.
You should have played like a
revisit the
charisma
dagger.
guy instead of a dwarf.
We haven't made a deal on the dagger yet. Only on the goblets.
Okay.
We didn't negotiate the goblets. We just accepted that number.
Well, I didn't know what it was worth, so I couldn't tell
You
you
got 40.
if it was a good deal or not. So I took the 40.
Okay.
I don't want to carry it around and take a chance of breaking that. The dagger is not going to break.
Okay. There's 2 bolts of fine cloth.
Yeah, yes.
You
And
wanna
the
try-
inlaid wooden box with ivory handles and decorations.
Okay. All right.
And the silver rod.
Silver rod. Okay. So that's for that. That's for that. That's for that. Okay. So I know we have. Okay, he'll offer you 27 gold for the wooden box. He will offer you for the for the bolts of cloth. The bolts of cloth.
Would we get a better
Okay.
offer from a seamstress?
that will depend. His offer is going to be. He will offer you 96 for. That's total. 96 gold for the no, he'll bump that up to 100. 100 gold for the 2 bolts of cloth together. And
Sounds like a good
then
deal.
and then for the last item, the silver baton, he will offer He will offer 35 for the silver baton.
We also have a heavy gold chain.
And a heavy gold chain. All right, and that is... Okay.
Cool.
He will offer you 100 gold for the heavy gold chain.
That's a little
180?
light on the
What?
chain. I think the chain ought to be about 150. This is what Talon's telling him.
Um,
About an even 200 for the gold chain and 6 small garnets.
He'll look at the garnets, and those. Okay.
Are we gonna do this every time we find stuff?
You mean negotiate for the best?
Exactly. Are we gonna sit here and niggle over prices for every time we find stuff? Because there's a bunch of stuff in this module. We'll be spending more time selling stuff than exploring.
Yeah, he'll give you 100 gold pieces for the chain and the garnets
Because
together.
in fact, most GMs will just only give you half what stuff's worth, and they don't sit there and go through this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So he's being generous.
This actually, this guy is written this way. This is straight out of the module that this guy will negotiate. Most others, it doesn't give you any guidance, and so my rule is always just half, because I don't want to fiddle around with calculating everything. But this guy, nope. It's the way Gary Gygax wrote him. He wrote him to be a guy that will negotiate.
You meant 200 for the garnets and the chain.
I thought somebody said 100 for the garnets and the chain.
He said an even 200, because you
Even
said
200
for the chain, and I said 150 for the chain, and then somebody said, "What about even 200 for the 6 garnets and the chain?"
Oh, well then, no, he's not going to do that. I don't think.
All right.
Let me do this. Okay. He will give you.
About 100 gold
he would
pieces.
give you 30 for the 6 garnets.
See, sounds fair.
And how much for the chain?
He offered 100 for the chain.
Yeah, and I'm saying, you need to come up.
Well, this is his offer. You either accept his offer or you don't. If you don't accept his offer, then you go somewhere else and you try to see if you can get a better offer. That's the way this works.
Well, I guess we can vote, because I'm not going to be the one making the decision.
Let me see. What else do I have?
We have
I
one
say we vote to
citrine.
take what he offered.
Okay.
I say we vote for I vote yes for taking what he offers.
Well, just put it in the chat. Everybody vote in the chat. Yes, we take. No, we don't. Okay, and one of them anyway.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay, so we got Garm, yes. Min, yes. Archimedes, yes. And Joe is yes to the goblets, but no to everything else.
So I see 3 out of 5 people here saying yes. So
That's but
And
so we're just gonna take what he offered for everything. What did he offer for the citrine?
the citrine.
100 gold pieces.
Let's see, what does he offer for that?
Probably be about 30, maybe.
Okay. He'll offer you 35 for the citrine.
Nice. See? All right.
Okay. So the running total. Running total I have is this. I have.
I just
Sorry.
I ended whatever gold we already had, so
did we get rid of the ivory handled box?
Yeah, he
got rid of
offered you 35 for that.
That's good.
So, all right. So his total offer for all of that stuff is 875 gold pieces. Now,
that is not 875. Because 600 and 100 and 100 is 8, but all the rest of that adds up to more than 100.
Okay. Then I'll need to go and
say 6, 7, 8,
110.
Okay, hold on. Just hold on.
That's 975.
Oh, so I must have missed one of the 100s.
Yeah.
Yep, it's 975. So 975 gold pieces is what he offers. Okay. Now I presume you wouldn't, and actually even if you did, he would direct you to the smith or the tanner or whatever. So if you wanted to try to sell any of the weapons or any of the armor or any of that
I was
other
about
stuff.
to ask Archimedes to find out if this guy identifies things, because the masterworks are art.
Are trying to figure it out.
Yeah, this guy will tell you. He says, I cannot identify anything that may have any arcane enchantments. I can ask a specialist, but that costs me money, and so therefore it would cost you money. You probably would get a better price if you went directly to somebody who could do that, and didn't pay a middleman.
Let's go to Burn on that one.
Yes, I believe that His Magnificence, the Wizard Burn, could do that. Also, they may have somebody over at the temple or the Church of St.
I'm sure he'll be nice to us because we're doing him a big favor.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, wonderful. And then you guys have the deed, and he will I presume everybody signs that, and he'll record it and everything and whatnot.
I want to get the 500 gold that I was due. Will he keep it for me, and I just have it have a title to it or a claim to it, or do I have to cash it out?
No. I mean, he's sent somebody to the vault to get that out. So while he was dealing with all of the stuff you wanted to sell, so there's the 975 as a lump, and that's to be divided between the six of you, and then his assistant will bring out fairly sizable wash leather purses that each have they're really more like sacks that have 500 gold pieces in them each. And
so the question is, if I don't want to cash out, can I keep my paper and get it later?
Yes, certainly, sir. Just make sure you keep that paper, bring it in, and we can get that to you at any time. So if you would prefer to keep it here in the vault, we can do that for you.
Okay.
Min
Yes.
hands back her bag of gold and then takes out 10 gold pieces and goes, "It's too heavy for me to carry."
Okay, and he says, "Oh, so would you like to open an account here? We do have an account. It's very
Is it gonna
reasonable."
cost me?
I want to do that. Yes, I want an account. Yes, that's what I want.
Okay.
Otherwise, I can go bury it in the backyard somewhere.
Okay, for Garm, the options Garm has, he hasn't surrendered his check yet. If he keeps his check, it doesn't cost him anything, and he can then come back at any time, present the check, and get the full 500. For Min, if Min wants to take part of it but not take all of it, she will have to open an account. And the accounts here do have a cost. The cost is 1 gold piece per month. So
At that point in time, she picks up the bag and she waddles off with it. She's like, "To hell with you."
You can.
Okay.
You can. Well, I'll take my check
The
back.
problem with the paper is, with the paper, anybody can bring it in and get my money, right?
Yep.
That's why you would want to keep it safe somewhere. Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want it where I can open an account and only I can get the money out. I'm willing to pay a gold a month. That's nothing.
Okay.
Well, 2 questions. Can you do this, and can we get the 500 in platinum instead? And then also, so if you're a 10%, that's like a lot for gold to platinum. Or can we, instead of giving 500 gold, can we get the equivalent amount in platinum for the paper exchange?
Oh, certainly. You can take that in. I would be happy to give you the full value because this is money that is being paid to you by the village council. I would be happy to give you the full value in any denomination you want. If there was some reason you wanted it all in copper, I would be happy to give it all to you in copper. But that wouldn't be very practical. And you've already exchanged a large number of copper.
I'll take.
So Min
platinum
basically
as
puts
well.
it back on the counter and goes, "Fine, I wanted electrum."
It'll be 1,000 electrum instead of 500 gold.
Oh, sorry.
You want it in, if you want it in
Platinum.
smaller denominations, you want it in platinum,
Sorry.
or
Yeah.
a smaller amount of coins.
How much is it
you want
in platinum?
I'm looking up this.
I think it's 100 platinum equals 500 gold. I think it's 1 for 5 to 1.
1 to
Gold to
5.
platinum.
It might be.
It's 1 to 10, isn't it?
Well, it changes.
Oh, it changed over. Yeah. Okay.
It changes in every edition. So
It's 5 to 1.
I
5
think
to
it's
1 in this
1,000
one?
to 1. 1,000 to 1.
Well, no. 5 platinums to 1 gold. No.
No,
5
Five
gold to
gold
1
to one
platinum.
Oh, to 1 platinum. Yeah.
So 100
5 gold to
platinum.
1 platinum.
So it'd be 100 platinum pieces.
Yeah. 100 platinum pieces, yes.
All
So he will give you, anybody who wants it, he will give you 100 platinum. Anybody that wants to open an account, he will take your information. He will
Take your money.
set up an account for you. He will give you he will take a tile, and what he does with a tile is he will take it over to a table, and he will pull out what looks like a meat cleaver. And this tile, it looks like it's made out of clay, but it's clearly made out of something else. He will take the cleaver, and he will just set the tile down on a table, and then he will just chop at it. And he doesn't make an effort to like chop it exactly in half. So it's like uneven sizes, and sometimes it's a little bit at an angle and whatnot. And then he will create a little account and take half of that tile and put it in that account with your name, and he will give you the other half of that tile. And he says, this is how you identify yourself. You come in, you give me your half of the tile, we match it up with the other half of the tile. That's how we make sure it's you, and not somebody who's trying to impersonate you. After all, there are those magic people who can make themselves look like somebody else. And this way we know.
Lose the tile. Then what?
Then that's where he tells you to flip the paper over, and it has a series of questions. The city that you were born, what your first pet's name was, your something like that. Your favorite brand of ale, your mother's maiden name, those types of things. So it's got that, and so if you lose your tile, then that's how you prove who you are. Is by
everybody's mother's maiden name is Mommy.
Did everybody see what I put in the chat about what the split was for the?
It should be 162 and a half gold. Is that
162 and a half. That's what I got. Yeah.
It's 172 each with 4 left over. How do I divide the 4?
Wait a minute. 975 divided by 6?
Oh, okay. I added in the gold we actually found.
Yeah. He's doing everything.
Yes.
So yes. So everybody gets 3 silver, 3 electrum, 3 platinum, and 172 gold.
Yes. And then we have 1 electrum left over, 3 silver left over, and 4 gold left over.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
I would say throw that into a community chest for the restoration of the Moathouse.
Well, yeah. I was thinking maybe we want to offer it up to the church if we're going to ask for a favor.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we just give it to the needy? And that's me.
Hey.
I don't care what you guys do with that. I'll take my share of
yeah, I don't care either.
Okay. All right.
But I do want to take my share of the gold, which is 172, plus the 500, and deposit it into this guy's bank or whatever, and I'll pay 1 gold for the first month. So that should give me an account of 671, less the 1 gold that he takes from me.
Yep. So now Garm has an account with the moneylender. And
I'm gonna open an account as well,
okay.
but I'm just gonna have him add the 3 platinum pieces, so I have 103 platinum pieces in my.
Okay. All right. So, this is session 5. Okay, so at the money lender, Garm opens an account, and then Talon opens an account. Anybody else gonna try to open an account here?
Nico is.
Okay.
Is there anybody that's not?
Oh, yeah. Archimedes will too.
Okay.
So out of that 172, you'll just do it because.
Yeah, and like Garm said, your total balance will be 672 gold pieces, and then he's going to upfront pay one for
1 year?
the
1 month.
1 month. Yeah, it's 1 gold per month. First.
I would just give 12 gold pieces and just say, okay, I've got an account for a year.
Same.
Oh. Okay. So sounds like everybody except now, is Min gonna open an account or not?
Min pouts a little bit and then fine goes up.
Okay.
And puts her
Oh.
bag of 100 platinum or whatever the hell it is on the table, and then says,
Just
fine. Pay 12.
Just put it in
gold.
your litter box. Ain't nobody grabbing that.
I'll pay 12 gold for a year too. That'll leave me with a 660.
Okay.
gold.
What?
I give him the platinum and 12 gold, so.
I'm lost.
We've done our accounts for a year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
that's what I said I would do too. So
Okay. Now, are people going to? I guess you're gonna figure out what you would need, and then we'll determine how much you would have to pay for any upgrades you make. If you can't get that from trading out weapons and armor that you're selling. Okay, so everybody's just putting in the 672 gold and paying the 12 gold pieces, right? Anybody putting in anything more?
No, not me. I'm only
Yeah, no.
in 103 platinum pieces. Which
Okay.
would be 515 gold, but I'm giving them an extra 12 gold out of my gold for the 1 year. So I should have 515 gold in my account or 103 platinum pieces.
Okay, I'm just going to try to do it all in gold because that's simpler instead of having some people's in platinum and some
Yeah,
people's
well,
in
I
gold.
just noted it on mine in platinum.
Okay,
It
yeah,
works
yeah,
out.
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. All right. So he is keeping some out for purchases, and then we'll just figure out what we deduct from this for everybody else that makes purchases. I'm not going to make you go back and get money and then go back. It's just, if you need to draw from the account, you can.
We still
Okay.
have to sell the weapons and stuff.
Right.
So I'm
Right.
really not worried about it.
And identify them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm banking on because I only have 30 copper pieces and 8 silver pieces on my person. The rest of that stuff all just went into the account.
You,
Okay.
Correct?
You didn't keep 3 electrum pieces or...
Oh, the 3 silver and the 3 electrum. Yeah. Well, then 3 electrum and 11 silver pieces. So yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and don't forget, everybody gets 3 platinum. So you have 3 platinum,
That too.
3 silver, 3 electrum, and then whatever change in copper that you had, if there was any change in copper. I don't think there was because he converted it all.
Yeah,
Oh,
all the copper was converted.
Yeah, he,
Okay.
he gave us a really good deal on that copper. He actually, I don't know if he made any money on that copper at all.
No, but he made money on the rest of the stuff. Yeah.
All right. Then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we will take our break. I have 40 after, and we'll come back and we'll see what you guys want to buy in terms of upgrades here in the town and identifying those items. So I'm going to put the music on. Chat, thanks for hanging out and enjoying our discussion of
Medieval banking
Amish.
practices.
Amish is going to roll an economist and join the game. All right. So I'll put the slate back up, and we will go ahead and be back in a few minutes.
I think we need a puppy.
I'm sure at some point we'll get a big dog.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, actually. I'm wondering if anybody can use the bastard sword or the shield. It would make more sense for somebody in the party to use them.
Talking about using which items?
The Masterwork shield and the Masterwork broadsword.
Yeah, I'm hoping to talk about the shield because Nico's reconsidering whether or not he wants to use it or asked to put his gold into the party coffers to maybe be able to use it.
I also had a question for Garm. I know you can't wear armor, but could you use a shield?
No, I don't use a shield. I don't wear armor. And because it's incompetent. I have a very low strength. So,
I should be the weakest one here.
are you a fighter?
No, I'm not.
What's your strength?
Hold on, I have to look. But I think 11.
Okay, yeah, mine's like a 12 or a 13. Whatever it is, it's negligible. And I'm not.
Unless you got really lucky rolls.
Yeah,
Mine
well,
was
I
a 13 too.
got really shitty rolls, so I'm not gonna wear armor and be walking around doing 8 moves and all that kind of stuff.
Well, but
let's see how much the shield weighs, because magical equipment sometimes is a fraction of the weight.
True, but we didn't find any magical armor, and I'm not going to use the shield.
Okay. Well, Nico would be willing to use the shield and reconsider it if the group lets him use it down the line.
And I'm pretty sure that shield is magical.
That's why.
Well, I don't know why one of our magic using people can't cast detect magic on it.
Don't have that spell.
If we have a cleric, the cleric should be able to pray for it.
We do have a cleric, but
I'm a cleric.
I can see why
Nico's a cleric, but I don't think you could pray just for detect magic. I thought it was a spell you had to prepare.
No, you have to prepare for daily use, just like you would any other spell. But I'm saying you can get it, and that way we will know that it's magical without going to somebody and saying, "Hey, is this magical?"
If that's a spell in one of the spheres I can use, I'll have prepared it today, man.
Divination.
Let me see if I'm allowed to use divination.
Yeah, lesser divination should be available to all clerics. Now, greater.
I'm a kit. I have all combat, guardian, healing, war, wards, chaos, and minor access to protection and necromantic. I don't have divination.
Let's take a look at all. Give me a moment.
If it's an under all, I would have prepared it for today, since I knew we weren't going back to the thing for today.
All right, let's take a look at.
We were having a player discussion.
Yeah. Pre-spells by sphere. Yeah, under all, there's detect evil, but detect magic is not under all. Detect magic is under divination. That's the sphere it's under.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as being a kit, I give up some of the stuff that like generic priests can use.
Okay.
Just had to be fancy.
I wanted to use like martial, like any weapon, and this is the only kit where I could use whatever weapon I wanted.
What weapon do you use?
I use a battle axe currently, but I have no weapon restrictions as a cleric, and I advance my THAC0 along with the warrior style.
So you could use a masterwork broadsword.
I could, but I'm not proficient in it yet. But if it's a good enough sword, then yes, I could be a sword and board instead of the battle axe. But the battle axe has religious significance to me because it's the preferred weapon of Clang Adden.
Well, yeah, no, but like maybe we could.
But yeah, in case we needed a magical weapon to fight something, we could have it, and I could carry it and use it when we need it.
Okay. To save you guys a little bit of time, I'm going to tell you that if you go and try to And I'll say that you could figure this out by asking around before you get over there. If you went to Burn, Burn would Burn will charge 50 gold pieces for every casting of detect magic
I told you he was our friend.
that he does. If you go to the Church of St. Cuthbert, a priest will do it there for a donation to the church, and they don't put a gold piece value on the donation. It's just they ask for a donation to the church.
Let's go to the church.
And so, it's like it's sort of a pay what you want at the church versus a nope, take a flat fee. Because as it turns out, Burn likes to think of himself as a retired adventurer who is now doing research, and that means he doesn't want to be bothered. So he makes it expensive for people that want his time.
So I need to take 67 gold with me because that's about 10% of the 670. Because I need to donate my 10% just because of tithing.
Okay.
That's like part of the requirements for a cleric. So.
Then?
Okay.
So just so you have a note on my account that I would have 67 less in my account, just as a matter of course.
So,
but we can see if my tithing counts as the donate what we want, right?
I suppose it depends on whether you tell the church that this is your tithe.
I'm not a part of that church. I just have to tie it to churches, so I can choose to like either hold on to it to make my own church someday, or I can tithe it to any good aligned church.
Okay, well, this is the Church of St. Cuthbert, which is a good aligned church in this area. So
I don't want to be sneaky. I'll just tell them, hey, I'm going to make this donation because I have to make a donation. Would you please help out my friends though with telling them what these items are?
Okay.
And I'll give them the 69 gold because I need
okay.
Because I need to do I need to do exactly 10% or more, and that brings me from 67. There's 2 extra gold. I don't want to do the math, so that makes that easier.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm also giving them the 4 gold, 3 silver, and 1 electrum. So.
Okay.
But that wasn't money you counted in your account. So if it's not money you counted in your account, don't worry about it.
No. This was our leftover. So
right. Okay. So
that's my donation. Our donation as a group, actually.
Okay. So you get over to the church, and you will find you'll find several priests there. Of course, there's Tuck there, and there's 2 other priests. One is named Roland, and there's that's a dude, and then there's a female priest named Elaine. So
Tuck and Roland?
Church priests are Tuck, Roland, and Elaine. Okay, so it's pronounced row as a row of boat, but Roland, yes. Tuck and Roland. All right, so you guys can talk to any one of them that you want, and
I'm gonna talk to Tuck.
Okay, all right. So he will He'll tell you, and then I'm going to take a look at the priest spells, first level spells. Detect magic. Okay, yeah, he just he asks you to put everything in on a table that is covered with a velvet cloth. And because in this edition, detect magic works in an area. So if you put everything that you want detected, he can tell what is magical and what isn't.
Okay.
That you put there. So, and it's a path 10 feet wide and 30 yards long. So it's a pretty big area. But the table is a nice sized table, and you can lay everything out. So what items are you asking him to look at?
Well, I think the only thing we need him to look at is the masterwork shield and the masterwork broadsword.
And the arrows.
Oh yeah,
There's 4 masterwork arrows. So all of the masterwork items that we found.
Yeah, the 4 masterwork arrows, which
Okay.
here.
Okay, so then he will they will thank you all for the donation. So there's a little cha-ching somewhere as the money falls into the collection box. And then he casts his spell, and indeed he identifies that the arrows are indeed magical, and they glow with a faint aura. And as he says they glow with a reddish aura, which means it's faint.
Okay.
And then he moves across to the broadsword, and the broadsword. Let's see, where was that? It was
in the room with the snake.
I thought the dagger was in the room with the snake.
No, you're right. The dagger was. The broadsword was behind the bookshelf.
Okay. Yeah, it was behind the bookshelf. And yes. It's just a normal masterwork broadsword, and then the shield that will also detect with a reddish aura. So it has a minor magical glimmer on it, and he says now, it is possible that. Further information can be gained from this if the identify spell is cast on it. However, let's see, that is that also a priest spell?
No, I think that's just a
it's
spell.
not, and it's not really necessary. We know that these are no more than +2 and likely +1 weapons. And,
But we don't want to know. We want to know if they're cursed or not.
And identify doesn't really tell you the exact plus. Most demons are real generous with it, but if you read the spell, it doesn't tell you exactly what it is.
But it would tell us if it was cursed or not. Detect evil would tell us if it's cursed or not.
We're all cursed.
Yeah. He and in fact he would go ahead and he would just throw a detect evil, and none of it detects as evil.
Okay.
He'll just make sure that, and he actually kind of does that as soon as, that's kind of an automatic thing he does as soon as he finds out what's magical and what isn't. he just does a detect evil, and he'll tell you not to touch it until he finishes. And then he'll say, all right, well, good news is for any of you who have handled it, none of this is cursed. So you don't have any curses lingering on you. Unfortunately, those curses usually take hold as soon as you touch the item. So by now, you would be under those effects.
So my craving for frog liver isn't because of the shield or the arrows.
And he kind of gives you raises an eyebrow at you, and he says, "No, no, not from those."
I wonder if they would have given us 750 gold pieces for a jewel dagger that we found.
This is the church. No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't give you that.
Okay.
They would accept it as a. They would accept the jewel dagger as a donation, but they wouldn't.
As a
give you any money.
donation, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, well, I think Master Tuck for his work.
And I will say that by doing some testing, and by testing I mean shooting the arrows at targets, practicing with the shield and whatnot, you can figure out that the arrows are +1 arrows and the shield is a +1 shield. So
Nice.
Well, the shield, we have a person that favors the shield. Does he want to use it? And
Nico, would you? Huh?
And does the rest of the party care if he uses it?
I don't mind. I mean, as far as future picks, though, that might put him at the back of the line for something that someone else wants in the future.
yeah.
And if there's like a general value of a magic, like a basic magic shield that's within what we just collected, I don't mind contributing some of the gold I just got towards the Moathouse. But my other purchase was going to be saving up to purchase either splint mail or banded mail, or if I can ever get to 2,000 gold, field plate.
Because you want to be really obvious when you walk around?
I already am.
What are you wearing?
Right now I'm wearing chainmail.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm just marking that Nico has the +1 shield.
Okay.
And the arrows, honestly, I say we give them to the ranger, who's not here at the moment.
The arrows or the bow?
The PC Ranger?
There's no magical bow.
Okay.
It's just a +1 arrows. But yeah,
we got a Ranger, and it's not Zert, right? You talking about the other PC that's not here?
Yeah,
correct.
Jason.
Jason's character,
Oh,
Quint.
that's fine with me.
Quint.
But I mean, I don't know if he's the only one that can use a bow, but I don't. But that's fine with me either way.
I do. Archimedes uses a bow.
Okay.
Oh, you want to do 2 arrows?
That's fine.
Well, I think what we do then, if Archimedes is interested in that, wait until Jason gets here and the two of you work that out.
So,
How you want to split it? So,
I'm putting a question.
put something to Jason in Discord, and so that you remember, and you guys work it out during the week, and by next week figure out what we're doing.
It's only 4, so I don't know if.
I mean, two
so
sounds fair to me. You're not going to use it against just anything you fight.
Yeah.
What you going to say?
Right, yeah.
I refuse to take 2 if you don't give me all 4.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a reasonable thing to me, but I just would figure I prefer that you guys work it out. Yeah, I don't think he would have a problem. I don't think he'd have a problem with it. And
Either, but I'd also like to maybe negotiate it. Say like, okay, you take all 4 of these ones, and then, hey, maybe I get the next set,
right. So
or I get first
if
shot.
you if you want to do that offline through Discord or in the session next week when he's back. So let's not waste any time talking about that now.
Yes. Also, is anybody? I don't know what Quint uses, so I can't speak for him. Do we want to hang on to the Masterwork broadsword or sell it?
I don't think anyone uses broadsword.
What does Masterwork give us, a +1 to hit or a +1 to damage?
Well, I don't know about in this, but in 3rd edition, it gives you a +1 to hit.
Oh, I'm asking the GM. The GM's right there, so I'm asking what is it going to give us? Because it's either because in 2nd they used to have a high quality weapons, and it will be either or. So I don't know if that's the same with what he's doing with this Masterwork. I don't know. Nobody can use it. We got a dwarf that can use any kind of weapon, but he won't want to use this, I guess.
If I need a magical weapon, I have Shillelagh memorized, and if I otherwise, I'm proficient with my battle axe. I'm not proficient with a broadsword or any swords.
Oh, okay.
I can be eventually.
Yeah, but if you're not already proficient with it, what's the point? I mean,
okay, all right.
I don't care if we say
so here we go. Here's what it says in the book. Careful craftsmanship and high quality give a weapon a bonus on the chance to hit or a bonus to damage. Bonus should never be more than +1. Bonus on the chance to hit is for those weapons that are exceptionally well balanced, light, or quick. Broadsword is not that. So what I say is it does not give you +1 to hit, but it will give you a +1 to damage.
So
it's a normal chance to hit, but +1 to damage for the Masterwork broadsword.
It's probably worth selling and trading for better gear for the rest of the party.
When I've had those crafted as a character, when you go to the smith, you tell them what you wanted to do. So, but this is something we found. So of course that's why I was asking you which it was.
So, yeah, it's up to you guys then. If you want to wait and ask Jason and deal with it next week, that's fine. If you decide what you want to do with it as a party this week, that's fine too.
Yeah, since no one that's here is proficient in it, and it's not magical, so I don't see why you would want to save up a proficiency for it. I say we wait until next week. If he doesn't want it, we sell it.
Okay.
So why don't we sell everything else though? The other mundane items.
Okay, yes. Now, none of these other merchants, and this will answer Amish's question in the chat, none of the other merchants are written in the way that merchant was written. So thank you, Gary Gygax, for not doing that to us on every stupid merchant in this game. And so that means that to figure out how much you get for the other items, we just simply look up the cost of them in the player's handbook, and you take 50% of that. So anything that you're selling, you will get 50% of. So then loot being our weapons, armor being sold. All right, so if I go back to the sheet, I'm seeing okay, 5 spears, 4 battle axes, 4 leather armor, 2 ring mail, 5 shield, 5 normal shields. We determined that what looked like the Masterwork shield was actually a shield +1. the masterwork so then there's 3 long swords, the masterwork broadsword. There's a flail, crossbow, and 20 bolts. Are you guys keeping the bolts?
Does anybody use a crossbow?
Yeah, I would think anybody who's using the crossbows grab the bolts.
Do we round up or down on an uneven division?
If it's a 0.5 for money, 0.4 and below round down, 0.5 and above, or 0.0 to 0.4 round down, 0.5 to 0.9 round up.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Okay, so
we're at the armorer or whatever. So is he able to sell, or is he selling the arrows? Because that's what I need to purchase.
Okay, let's take care of what you all are selling to him first, and then we'll do buying. So let's do one at a time, so we're not. Okay, so this is gonna be, and then there's a scale mail tunic. Then that's been sold. Those are taken care of. That's
one of these. I just had crossbow. Is that heavy or light? Because the other one.
Yeah, I think one is a heavy and one is a light.
Okay, that's.
Yeah, that jug of oil. You're keeping that because it's worth 10 flasks, or you're gonna convert that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then what I have is I have this. That one is done. Okay. I'm trying to cross off everything that has been. Everything that's been accounted for.
How much is a quarrel?
It's like that's a name, another name for a crossbow bolt. I don't know why. In the old editions they called them quarrels, and the newer edition they call them bolts.
I thought it might be a certain number of bolts.
I don't think so. It always
thought it was the type of like you're saying, the sheath arrow and the other kind of arrow. So
it might be, but they
all crossbows fire quarrels or bolts, so that's per.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any designation. There's no difference in what the damage is. I don't know why they have two different.
Right.
Why they have two different things for it. I don't know that much about medieval weapons to really understand what the difference is. I prefer just calling them all bolts, unless there's a reason to call it something different. Okay, so we have all of this stuff. And we're going to put it here. All right, so the spears we have.
Oh, if you want to look out here, I can save. And I'd already looked up all the weapons and didn't, and divided them.
Oh, okay.
I was just putting it out to the side. If you look at the treasure and loot, I just kind of wrote what the full amount for like 5 spears would be, the half. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. I didn't.
I hadn't saved it yet.
Oh, okay.
That's why you didn't see it before.
That's why I didn't see it. All right. So I'm gonna get out of it. Okay, there. I see what you're doing. So, okay.
The only thing I haven't done is the armor and the shields yet. So
Okay. All right. Armor. So 4 leather armor. Let's take a look at.
5 gold each, 20 gold, and 10 gold pieces.
Yep. And then the ring mail is 100 gold pieces, so that would be 50 for the ring mail.
50 per, so that'd be 100
Yep.
total. The shields are 3 gold pieces each. Be 8 total.
Shield. 3 times.
Oh,
Drops
like flies.
So 8. Yep. Okay. And scale mail is. So that would be 60 for that one. All right. All right. So then, let me see if I can add this stuff up. It's 10 plus 20 plus 100 plus 8 plus 18 plus 8 plus 25 plus 18 plus 60. Okay, so from my calculations, I'm getting 267, just counting the
Gold.
items that are in gold pieces. Then if I do a separate calculation for the silver, I have 20 plus 25 plus, whoops.
25 plus 12.
Yeah, 12.
Either way.
57 silver.
The logarithm.
And
root.
yep. So I think that's that, right? So 267 gold, 57 silver. And then you guys can divide that all up. So 267 divided by 6, that would be
44.5.
44. Yep, 44 gold, 5 silver each. And then for the 57 divided by 6 is 9 silver and a further 9 silver, 5 copper. So all right. Oh, okay.
Did you say 5 copper?
Yes. 9 silver, 5 copper.
So it's 44 gold, 14 silver, 5 copper piece.
Yep. For each person. Okay.
Discord chat.
Okay, great. All right. That looks good. All right. Well, we've had a couple of people that have had family issues come up in the last few minutes. So, was there any other accounting type stuff that you guys wanted to do? Because if we are finished with all this stuff, then we can begin a next session if you all want with heading back out to the Moathouse. Now, I guess there's stuff that people wanted to buy now that you know how much you have. So those of you who have a few minutes to stick around, maybe we can take care of anything you want to buy. And then we might have to start next week by checking with Joe and Heather and Jason to see if they want to buy anything. So is there anything that you guys wanted to purchase, or are you good?
I just need to purchase some arrows. That's all.
Okay, that's right. You wanted some arrows. Thank you. Those arrows. Were you looking at getting the?
Actually, just a whole nother setup, another quiver, and another set of 20, if that's possible.
Okay, and were you looking at sheaf arrows or flight arrows?
Sheaf.
Sheaf arrows. Okay, those are. Well, where the hell is the price for them? Bow. Sheaf arrow. 3 silver pieces for 6. So it's. We'll call it. They'll do 18 silver pieces, and they'll give you 20.
Perfect. And then another quiver. And a gold.
Yeah, I think it runs a gold. It was just weird. They don't put that with the weapon. They put it with the other adventuring equipment. No, 8 silver pieces. Not a full gold. 8 silver pieces.
I want to buy 2 large pouches and another 26 darts.
Okay. Large pouches are 1 gold each. Now you're thinking of a pouch and not a sack, right?
Right, pouch for my darts.
Yeah, okay. And then the darts are darts are 5 silver pieces each. So 2 of them per gold.
13 gold for 26?
Yep. Yep.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And anybody else want to buy anything?
Yeah, I need 10 sling bullets.
10 sling bullets. Okay. Sling. Okay, come on. Where are you, Sling? You're on the second page. Sling bullets. 1 copper each. So a silver for 10.
Yep. And I'll give him 10 copper.
Okay. Right. And does that take care of what everybody needs?
Well, all I need.
Okay. Then we'll check with the other players when we start next session and see if they need to gear up with anything. And we'll see if Quint has leveled yet or not. All right. Wonderful. I am going to update this right now, and I will tell you so you can update your character sheets, those of you who are still here. We did not get into any combats this week, but you guys did wind up with some RP and story experience. So, okay. We'll do RP experience is 100 XP per PC, and then story experience is a further 150 XP per PC. Got the deed for the Moathouse. All right. So you guys can, everybody will get 250 experience points for tonight. So, all right. That is updated. And of course, no treasure because you guys just divided up the stuff that you had. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for playing tonight. And viewers, Amish, I hope that we did answer your question in the second part of our session. This particular module was written by the OG himself, Gary Gygax, and he tells the DM right in the module or in the adventure that the moneylender will, there's a specific range that he will pay for when he buys items. And it says he doesn't buy, weapons, armor, or adventuring gear, but he will buy other kinds of art objects or things like that. All the other merchants, it doesn't say anything about that. And I generally try to speed up transactions by just simply saying that if you don't want to haggle, you will get 50% of whatever you can purchase the items for when you sell it. If you haggle, there is a chance that you can get more, or there's a chance that you can get less, because if you make checks and you screw those checks up, then you start annoying the merchants and they don't want to have anything to do with you. So they will start lowballing you to try to get you to leave their shop. So that's the trade-off. And a lot of times there are some players that like, look, I don't want to waste time with this. Just give me 50% a book and I'm good. There are other players that want to RP the whole thing. And I try to leave that agency on the side of the players. If they prefer to RP it, or if they prefer just to take the book value and run. So I hope that answers your question. Yes, it is a little, it's kind of weird, and maybe Gary Gygax initially set up every single merchant in all of his home games that way, and then he might have gotten a lot of feedback from other DMs. Oh, this is too much work. But it definitely sounds like something he would do. That he would have figured out all the details on every single person in his village and the way they would conduct themselves in every scenario. So I wouldn't be surprised if in his original draft, every single merchant had a range at which they would buy and sell stuff in the game. All right. Then what's coming up here next time, or in the next week on this channel? We will have tomorrow, 2 p.m., we'll have our Planeswalking 5e game, the Walker of Waterdeep. The party is split. The party has been split of their own accord, not anything the DM did. They are in 3 different places on 2 different planes. Most of them are in Waterdeep. One of them is on the plane of Ravnica, where he went for a meeting with a guild master. Then Monday night, we are doing a Monster Monday on the Ghost. So we are looking at the history of the ghost throughout all of D&D, and we will talk about where how the ghost has changed over the editions and some of the interesting properties that ghosts have had over the years and ways that you can use it. I think ghosts tend to get underused in D&D because there's a lot of cool things that you can do with them as a DM, and so I want to talk a little bit about that. Then on Thursday, we will be back for our Sword Coast Chronicles game. We're closing in on session 50 with that game.
Ooh.
And we're getting, they're still in Barovia, and they have now entered the Amber Temple and we had a fight that lasted the entire session on Thursday night, in just getting into the first room of the place. So that is the way that is going. And then we'll be back next Saturday night for another second edition D&D game. So second edition has a lot of weird things to it, but it's a system that a lot of people like, and I think it's fun to go back and look at all of the old rules and play through them, and then find the stuff that's really clunky and go, you know what? We're just going to change that at our table. All right.
Sounds good.
Second edition, they brought out so many campaign settings. I mean,
yeah, they did. That's the beautiful thing about 2E is how they expanded all the places you could play D&D in terms of official setting.
It was a money grab. They took everything that failed, like Mastika, Karatur, and they put it all on Toril. Because when you look at Toril, like Forgotten Realms is like only like the right around the equator, but there's all kinds of space. If you want to start your own campaign, there's all kinds of virgin territory you can put stuff. And when these campaigns fail, like Birthright, what else was there? Red Steel. They just said, hey, we'll just put it right here, and they had the novels and stuff, and
yeah,
they were making plenty of money until they got bought out like Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah. There's a really interesting
corporations.
There's a really interesting biography that I read a few years ago. It's a biography of Gary Gygax, and of course, a big chunk of that biography is all tied up in D&D and TSR, and there was a lot more politics going on within TSR than I realized once I read that book. But I think it's like called Empire.
Is there a docuseries about that?
I'm not sure. I think
I saw that on YouTube. They went into a little bit more of what was going on with TSR.
It wouldn't surprise me if there is. Let me pull up my account here and see, because I get it on the Kindle. So let's see.
Well, Gary Gygax was doing the Greyhawk Adventures, the Gord the Rogue novels, and when he was going to leave, he tried to suicide him, kill everybody, and I think they didn't like that. And so when he came out with Dangerous Journeys, which was a story about like a mage priest, like Egyptian pantheon guy, and it was basically a new realm. He got sued. TSR sued him and said he can't make anything new. Anything that he made would be their property. So,
well, he was gonna call it Dangerous
Adventures.
It was gonna be D&D. It was gonna be DD, Dangerous something.
Yeah,
and then he changed it to Journeys to get away from.
And they still screwed him. I mean, what I found about Gary Gygax, either you love him or you hate him. So there's people that are saying that'll be like the opposite of me saying, hey, he got what he deserved.
Here it is. It's called Empire of Imagination by Michael Whitwer. So I'll put that in the Twitch for the viewers, and I'll put it in Discord for the players. So, Empire of Imagination, author is Michael Whitwer.
I think after next session too, I'm probably going to level up again.
Okay. Biography. Oops.
Are you a rogue or a bard?
I'm a bard, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's the way to go. They have the best.
That's 2,500, and I'm at 2,000. Well, just under 2,000 now.
Okay, so then.
Yeah, by the time a bard or a thief gets to be third level, mage is just getting second.
Yeah.
And fighter.
So.
Mine is 2,000, then 4,000. So I'm not there yet.
Yeah, so there you go. That's the information on that book. If anybody's interested, and I thought it was an entertaining read.
A lot of people think Gygax gets too much of the credit because he was the face, and they're like, a lot of these guys did, like Cook and those guys did just as much as Gygax, and people give Gygax too much credit. But I'm like, well, that's not really his fault.
No. He was probably the most vocal evangelist about it, and he also was the one that wound up being very public and spokesman. Because one thing I did see, you guys were talking about stuff on YouTube. One thing I did see recently, I didn't watch all of it, is that apparently back in the either early 80s or late 70s, there was a 60 Minutes piece on D&D back at the beginning of the whole Satanic Panic thing.
Right. That's where they did it. They touched upon that too on this other YouTube thing that I saw, and it was basically him that got thrown in front of, he's the runner of this Satanic Panic, or the Satanic Game, and that was one of the other reasons.
So he became the person most associated with it, both by gamers and by people outside of the game. In popular culture. But that entire 60 Minutes interview, or that entire 60 Minutes piece, which I think takes up a couple of segments of the show, is on YouTube if you look for it.
My mom would let me play D&D as a kid. She's like, no, you can't play that in my house. So I had to wait till I went to college.
There were
nonsense, like somebody being under a mall and killing somebody and blaming D&D. I'm like, if you don't blame the gun or the knife, damn it, don't blame D&D.
Yeah. Well, and it's the same thing. Like a lot of people blaming heavy metal for teen suicides and stuff like that.
That got wrapped up in the Satanic Panic too.
Yeah. So it was all part of, Ozzy Osbourne was, and he was not the only one. There were a number of bands that were taken to court by people whose, teenage sons or daughters had killed themselves, and they were listening to, they listened to a lot of heavy metal music, and, parents looked at the words and saw stuff.
That wasn't that was at the time where you also, if you played the album, if you played the record backwards, it went to, "Oh, you must kill yourself." And it's like, I don't hear any of that.
Yeah. They claimed it said, "Oh, you must kill yourself." Yes.
I remember my preacher in catechism class pulling my mom aside one Sunday and saying, "I'm worried about Scott. He plays D&D and listens to heavy metal." And my mom's like, "So?"
I met a guy in college whose dad and his little brother and his mom, they all played D&D at their house. And I was like, why can't I have a family like that?
And that's actually more common now with 5th edition.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, one of the things that whether it's somebody figuring out a way of repackaging it, or I think it's just hobbyists realizing, many years after, after playing it for a long time. I heard maybe 10 or 12 years ago something that I had never consciously realized, but it helped me understand why I like D&D so much. And it's because there's an element of sort of improv around the table where you're basically thrown into a scenario and you have to figure out what you're doing. And that's no matter which side of the DM screen you're on, because yes, on this side of the DM screen, the scenario as it's written, but you still don't know what the players are going to want to do about it. You don't know that somebody's going to pull a rat out and put it on the table.
A script for them to follow.
Yeah, and eventually that's going to lead somebody to say, well, let's go stick that in somebody's purse. It's like it's all just, okay, now here's the situation. How do you roll with it? Because it's presented in front of you, and now you kind of do the whole classic yes and what happens next. And so that's one of the things I really like about it, whether I'm a player or whether I'm a DM, is just the whole improvisational nature of what's going to happen, and how the scenario unfolds. And so a lot of people who are big hobbyists in the game, and a lot of people who actually work for Wizards of the Coast now, were theater kids growing up, because they kind of got into D&D. They also enjoyed the whole kind of role-playing, acting type of stuff of it, element of it. And they kind of went into theater, but then, okay, now I have to get a real job. Oh, well, I can maybe get a real job now working for this company that makes this game that I really like.
Not everybody.
What's crazy for me? What's crazy for me is it's sort of like forbidden fruit, and I say that because I couldn't do it, or no one would let me play, like when I was a kid. But interestingly enough, both my parents are alcoholics, right? And my mom would let me have beer if I wanted it.
Oh my goodness!
And so I don't drink alcohol. I mean, because they were both alcoholics. But it's like, I think about that sometimes. Like, all the stuff she would let me do, like she would let me get piercings and tattoos if I wanted them. I didn't get those because it was okay to get those. But the stuff she didn't want me to do was play D&D. So she was like out of the house. That's what I wanted to do was play D&D. I'm gonna play.
Yeah, and that's a lot of there's an element of that. Parents and everybody, every parent, every set of parents has those things that they sincerely believe are harmful for their kids, and that there's probably degrees of how harmful is this, and how much would I want to allow my child to be exposed to this. And that's a different calculation for every set of parents. But it is often true that what you are told you cannot have, that's what you wind up really wanting, until you figure out what it's all about for yourself. And sometimes you find those things, you finally figure them out, and you go, oh, yeah, okay, this is not really all that much fun. I kind of thought I wanted it, and it was like, that was me growing up with smoking, because my parents were very against tobacco. They didn't smoke. Now they drank a little bit, and when I say a little bit, it would be like between my parents, it would take them maybe a month to drink a bottle of wine, and it might take them a year to drink a bottle of whiskey. But when there were special occasions, they would, and wine glasses were on the table, they would pour me just like a little finger of wine in a wine glass, and I would get to have a little bit of wine. So it's like I got a little taste of it. And then when I was sick and I would have trouble sleeping, they'd kind of put a little bit, just a little tiny, not even a shot, but a little tiny bit of whiskey and some honey and hot tea, and they would have me drink that, and that would help me sleep when I was sick.
That's
and
good.
Yeah, that's the old teething kind of trick that I grew up with, was when your babies are teething and they're crying and everything else, just stick your finger in and to stick your finger in some liquor, and then stick your finger in their mouth, and boom, they're done.
Yep. And so that was in my house, they hated smoking. So obviously when I turned 18, the first thing I wanted to do is buy a pack of cigarettes, and I probably bought 2 packs of cigarettes and hacked and coughed my way through both of those. And I was like, okay, this is dumb. I'm not going to do this. But because they forbade me to do it, I had to try it.
Yeah, that's smoking and drinking were basically just bar things to me. Anytime and my parents wouldn't hang around bars, but I hung around kids whose parents did go to bars. So it was like,
yeah,
if you go to the bar, that's where you drink and smoke. And when you're at home, you don't do that. I mean, that's just the way it was. It was weird, but yeah.
Yeah, and I had some friends whose parents were smokers, and it's like I would go over to their house for a while, and I would come home, and then the next morning when I would get up and I would go to my closet to get new clothes out, I could smell the cigarette smoke coming up from the clothes hamper, because it had gotten all into my clothes, and it was like, oh yeah, okay, so definitely, like you say, a lot of people, they would not bring that stuff home, but a lot of my friends, they had kids in the house, but they just smoke up a chimney. And of course, I'm old enough that when I was a young kid growing up, they hadn't come out with all of the Surgeon General warnings and all that kind of stuff. So, nobody was still promoting. Like, if you go back and you look at old magazines and old radio ads, there was a time when tobacco companies were touting the health benefits of smoking. By the time I was a kid, nobody was doing that. But
there was still, you buy a paperback book and it may have a cigarette advertisement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Johnny Carson used to smoke on stage, man. It's like that's before my time, but when you watch some of the old clips, it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like
a lot of those old TV
and Barney B. Jones and stuff like that. You'd be like, is this guy just smoking in his office? Yep. It was supposed to be cool.
Yeah. The last regular series that I can remember where there was it wasn't even a major character, but it was a recurring character that smoked a lot, was the X-Files. Where of course they had a kind of that shady guy that would show up every now and then, that he was a chain smoker. He was always smoking. And I read something about the X-Files a few years after it went off the air, and apparently that actor is not a smoker, and so it's like those were not actually tobacco cigarettes. They were non-tobacco
Stage cigarette, yeah.
Yeah, they're like stage cigarettes. I don't know what they do to those, but apparently, obviously, didn't have any nicotine or anything. But he said I kind of hated that part because I kept having to puff on those things every time I was on camera.
So he was vaping before it was cool.
Yeah.
And if I remember right,
cigarette smoking man. Amish says cigarette smoking man was his character.
My dad used to let me puff on his pipe.
At least Savalas was supposed to be a smoker, but either the network or somebody didn't want to have a smoker on their show. They wanted Telly Savalas. So instead of having a cigarette, he used a
lollipop.
A lollipop.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Kojak, right? And then that was his show.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, viewers, thank you for hanging out, and Amish, thanks for participating in the chat with our post-game discussion. Guys, appreciate you guys playing.
Hey, thanks for running.
Yeah, we will get back to exploring more of the. I think we'll get back to exploring more of the Moathouse next week, and we will talk to you all then. All right, everyone. Go ahead.
Yes, I just have a question. I would need to talk to somebody or looking up. The bard at second level gets a first level spell. I have no idea what.
But did you have to find it? That's up to the GM, though. Do you have to find it, or did you just?
And then I don't even know what it would be. So I don't know if there's a list. I was looking on
Wizard
one of the
spells.
2E books. Yeah. Oh, you look under wizard spells?
Yep, it says so in the bard description.
Okay. I thought I saw something on there about that. I didn't know for sure, and then I didn't know if what and how you were going to do chance of failure.
Well, that's based on your intelligence. What's your intelligence?
1 million. Let me see.
You also have the armor prohibition as wizards too.
Yeah.
When
So
casting.
My intelligence is a 14.
That's like a 70% chance, I think. So once you find
60% chance of
once you
learn
find a spell, then you got to roll your chance to understand the spell.
Right.
But the question is, I mean, I don't know. It varies from DM. Do you automatically find a spell just because you level? That's the thing.
Yeah, I have usually. I usually figure out that, or talk to the player about what kinds of things would his character or her character be interested in, and some of them would say, well, it's just like if we find any scrolls, I'll see if maybe there's a spell on those that I can learn. Other ones might be, I'm kind of interested in figuring out how to do thus and so. And so then we just say that during adventuring, you're kind of doing research, and once you've gotten enough experience, you then find somebody who's able to help you learn that particular spell. So it's kind of a little bit the way you think of approaching it. So would you the spells tend to be gained by serendipity and happenstance, and and in no case can a bard shoot a specialized school of magic. Beginning bards do not have a selection of 1 to 4 spells, either chosen randomly or by the DM. Okay, so I guess what here's what I would say. In a PM, give me a list of 4 first level wizard spells that you
I would be interested in, or I think my character would be interested.
You think your character would be interested in. Once I have that list, I will then on my own roll a d4, see how many of those you would know, and then figure out, based on percentages, which ones come up. And then if the dice say, well, you don't know those, then I would look for something that's maybe similar to those and give those to you. But I'll tell you, you tell me what you want, I'll tell you what you get. And we'll do it that way. And then as you're adventuring and going up towards third level, be thinking about what else he would be looking for at that point in time, in addition to what he's already got, and then we'll do the same thing.
That same aligns. Are you gonna, or are we gonna incorporate hard kits? I was just reading on that too. Kits, or are we just gonna do just regular?
If it's from a source, a published source, yeah, we'll work with the kit. Now, which source are you looking at?
The Bard's Handbook.
The D&D 2E, all 26 books.
There's a Bard's Handbook, but you would have chosen to be one of those kids as a starting character rather than trying to be one now. Because those kits are all like a whole new class almost in the Bard's Handbook. You got the Gallant, and you got the Blade Bard.
The True Bard, the Blade Bard, yeah.
Yeah, you're a true Bard. That's what you are.
Okay.
If you want to be something out of that book, you would have chosen that to start off with. I mean, you don't get to mix and match them.
Yeah, that's the one thing with this particular edition. They were like, yeah, you can choose to do that, but once you choose it at first level, you're locked into whatever you started with.
Okay.
So. All right, and then we will